Episode of Mr. Fincham's Fireside Follow-Alongs, and today we're going to be carrying on with Beyond the Horizon. We left off on page 15 last time, so today we will start back up on page 16. But before we do, I would like to recap and go over the questions that are going to be for this section's readings. So first, let's recap. As you can see here is Sarah with her new look, right? Her short hair, her new clothes, disguised as a cook. She snuck on to the Trade's Increase, which is her father's ship, to voyage with him to India because she did not want to be left alone and away from her father for an extended period of time. So she made it. She's on the ship. And the questions for today's readings. And again, these are going to be under the ELA questions and tasks. I'm having some of you answer these questions in a way that I'm not sure which question you're answering. So if you guys want to number them 1, 2, 3, number 1 being the reading writing task, number 2 being the text to self-connection, and number 3 being the extension, that would be helpful for me. Otherwise, you guys can just write reading writing task and then and then answer, or text to self-connection and then answer. It'd be a little bit helpful for me. So keep in mind that there are 3 questions for every reading that we do every day. 3 questions, okay? And so here is the first question for today, the reading and writing task. By the end of chapter 1, what motivates both Sarah and her father? So something is motivating them. What is it? And the text to self-connection. Continue your story from Monday. Insert dialogue into your story about how you were able to follow that parent and challenges that are getting in your way. Add a couple of paragraphs to your story. So, back on Monday, you guys began a story that was, you pretending that your parents or your guardians are leaving for a long time. You were telling me how you feel, how you would sneak out, follow them, and then you started about a paragraph or two about how that is working. So for the text to self-connection, you are continuing on with that. And the extension. At the end of chapter 1, both Sarah and her father are looking forward to business in the days ahead. Why? Why are they looking forward to that? There is also a video that shows a pirate ship sailing, El Galeon. This is also in the extra ELA videos section. So again, if you guys want to refer to these questions, they are on the ELA questions and tasks of your newsletter. And without further ado, we are going to start back on page 16, Beyond the Horizon. First paragraph. Month after month passed. Months of creaking wood, of rolling storms, of leaking planks, and a sickly feeling in the pit of the stomach. When the winds deserted them off the coast of Africa, they drifted aimlessly in the doldrums, the air becoming so thick that they feared they would choke. Then they dropped anchor and took shelter for more months as wicked gales I'm going to start back on the sentence. Then they dropped anchor and took shelter for more months as wicked gales took it in turn to lash the convoy. The Trade's Increase was forced to drop anchor several times more to stock up on water and provisions, and once for weeks on end to allow the carpenter to rebuild the rudder. So when it says that they drop anchor, that means that they obviously drop their anchor down to the sea floor, and when their anchor is dropped, they're not moving. So they're just stuck there. They had to do this for repairs, to stock up on water, provisions, things like that. So if your journey takes, let's say it takes 6 months just to go there and back, it may take 8 months if you're having to stop, drop your anchor, repair things, rebuild things. So it's taking longer than expected. Now here is a photo, or not a photo, but a picture here What do you think is happening in this illustration? How do the characters look? How do you think they might be feeling? All right, we're going to go to page 17. At least this means we have fresh food for a change, said Captain Booth, eyeing the table one night as they lay off the coast of Madagascar. Lieutenant Armitage of the Adventurer, their sister ship, dined with the captain as Sarah stood at the door with a bowl in her hands, her eyes firmly fixed on the floorboards. That it does, Captain, agreed Armitage. Curse that infernal rudder all the same. Nearly a year had passed since we set sail, and our business has not even begun. The treaty and the land will be ours, sir, Armitage assured the captain. All in good time. Let us hope so, sighed Captain Booth. Will that be all, Captain? Sarah squeaked, barely raising her eyes. Captain Booth paused for a moment. Have we sailed together, boy? He asked, looking Sarah up and down. So, they've been at sail for almost a year, and they haven't even begun their mission, really. Now, what is their mission? Well, they have a sister ship, so they have a ship that's kind of traveling with them, right? Called the Adventurer. We're gonna have to find out what exactly their mission is. And so the captain, after Sarah says, "Will that be all, Captain?" He's asking, "Have we sailed together?" So there's something that strikes him as familiar about her, right? Now we're going to go to page 18. No, Captain, Sarah replied, keeping her voice as steady as she could. She dared not look at her father in the eye. This is my first time at sea, she whispered, her heart pounding. Then thank Cook for his troubles, boy, said Captain Booth, dismissing her. Sarah closed the cabin door behind her, leaving the captain and Armitage to their meal, and scuttled quickly back to the galley. What is this treaty the other captain seeks? Sarah asked back at the galley, telling Cook what she'd heard. The company has an eye to gaining land and setting up a factory, a proper trading post, said Cook, sitting with Tim on his lap as she watched Sarah clean the dishes. The captain is seeking a treaty from the Mughal emperor himself, a piece of paper that says we can take from India what we please, Cook laughed. He'll make this company a fortune. You mark my words. So what they want to do is land in India, build a factory, and make a trading post. So people from all over the world can come to this post and buy and sell goods. So in other words, they're setting up a business. They think that this business would be extremely profitable, which means they would make a lot of money. Right? So that's kind of their mission. And now we're going to turn to page 19. So notice Sarah here and the cook. Sarah thought for a moment and asked, Do you think him a good man, Cook? He can be a funny old cove, I'll warrant you that, said Cook. But he's a rare and goodly captain, and I've sailed with a few. So here he is with Tim on his lap. So she's kind of asking him about her dad, right? She's like, well, do you think that my dad is a good captain? That's kind of what she's saying. Is he a good guy, right? Does he treat you well, etc.? And he's saying, yeah, he's rare and he's good. I've sailed with him a few times. He's kind of funny, so she's hearing good things about her father, which may be why she's in a little bit of a better mood, it looks like. And now we're going to go to page 20. Sarah turned her face for a moment, in case Cook saw her flush with pride. She found a piece of chewed beef on one of the plates and leaned over to feed it to Tom. Well, I, for one, will be glad to get to India and get off this ship, she said. I proffered you'd feel that way, said Cook with a smile. Now be quick with those dishes, Bill Drat. All right, so she is feeling proud of her dad. Seems like everybody likes him. Seems like he's a good captain. And, that makes her happy. So, 3 stars again. Notice that's a page break. So we have a change in scene. Page 20. 3rd paragraph after the page break. With favorable winds at its back, the trade's increase crossed the Indian Ocean without further delay, and the crew arrived in India on September 14th, a full year and 3 months since they had left the docks at Gravesend. So, I'm just going to stop there for a second. It took them 15 months to get to India finally, right? That is a long time to be at sea. All right, next paragraph. On the voyage, Sarah had watched from a distance how her father's hair had turned gray at the sides and how his face had become creased and aged. She understood now why he had tried to protect her from the journey. Men had dropped like flies aboard the trade's increase, departing this life with scurvy or the flux. And the same was true of the adventurer. Her father felt the burden. So, what she's saying is this is kind of wearing on him. His face, he's starting to look older, not just from the time that's passing, but from stress. It says that men had dropped like flies aboard the trade increase, departing this life with scurvy or the flux. So scurvy, the flux, these are diseases. And departing this life means they're dying. So the captain, her father, is really troubled by the fact that some of his men are dying, right? It's wearing on him. He's becoming weary. All right, last paragraph. As the shadow of India crept toward them over the horizon, Sarah could see the weight of these worries begin to lift from his shoulders. He was looking forward to the business in the days ahead, and with a flutter in her chest, Sarah realized that she was too. So, now that they're in India, they're like, finally, okay, we made it. Now we can start our business. This is going to be a good thing. So they're both looking forward to it. And we're going to go to page 21. And here is a picture of the ships arriving in India. It's kind of a cool little drawing, right? So we are going to sign off. Before we start chapter 2, we will be getting that. We'll begin that next week. But before we sign off for the day, I'm going to recap the questions for today's reading, which again can be found on the ELA questions and tasks section of your newsletter. And here is the reading and writing task. By the end of chapter 1, what motivates both Sarah and her father? So do they have the same motivations? Are they different? What are they? And the text to self-connection. You're going to continue your story from Monday. Insert dialogue into your story about how you were able to follow that parent and the challenges that are getting in your way. Add a couple of paragraphs to your story. So, dialogue, right? People talking. You're going to add that to your story. And the extension. At the end of chapter 1, both Sarah and her father are looking forward to business in the days ahead. Why? Why do you think they're looking forward to that? And as always, we have another video that is in the Extra ELA videos section of our YouTube channel. Feel free to check that out. And as always, I would really love to hear what you guys are thinking about the book so far. I've enjoyed reading the answers to your questions. And please leave some comments in the section below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what wonderings you have. And that is going to be all for this week for Beyond the Horizon. I will post another video tomorrow for Friday's reading, but it's not going to be of Beyond the Horizon. We'll pick this back up with chapter 2 next week. And that's it for me today. Until next time, see you guys later. Bye-bye.